In this video, I'm going to tell you how to get the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, a legendary sword, as early as level 1 in Act 1. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Baldur's Gate. So in the previous video, which I highly recommend you watch, especially if you're level 3 or higher, we used a level 3 fighter with the disarm weapon feat. So you need to have a fighter, a commander, feat, and they weapon commander, and they do a feat. But here we're going to use a cleric, but actually several spell users get this very early on, is command drop. So Shadowheart, for example, has command drop, and the hireling cleric that you get from Withers also has command drop. You don't need to select that at level 1. And so I'm going to use a level 1 hireling, even though my party is level 4. I'm only going to use level 1 characters to get this. And I'm also going to use level 5 characters to fight the Githyanki Patrol near the mountain pass. So this is all in the mountain pass area. So there's going to be a fort. If you go to the top of the fort or the bottom of the fort and enter there, then you're going to end up talking to Kith'rak Voss or Captain Voss and the patrol. But what we want to take away, the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, which is a legendary sword best used by Lae'zel because it has Githyanki bonuses on it, and it's two-handed sword, so it's for a heavy weapon user. So it's best to give it to Lae'zel. And it is an endgame sword. It's actually supposed to be part of a cutscene. It's given to you in Act 3, depending on your player choices with Commander Voss. And I don't believe stealing it from him will affect your game, but it's possible. I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect your relations with the Githyanki Yillik mission in Act 1 if you go down that, decide to take on that mission. But you need to, number one, this probably is not pre-equipped, so you need to go into the spells menu and equip it under the book slot. So you take away one spell, and so then you have it equipped. So the first time I did it was with Shadowheart level 5. I had my whole party with invisibility potions. We snuck up on them. We had a person next to him, I think it was Asterion, next to Kith'rak Voss, who has the sword. We did command drop. It took me about 8 times. It said it was a 12% probability. So that's why this is not preferred versus using a fighter with a disarm feat. So level 3, you get the opportunity to get that feat as a fighter, and that is going to be a much higher probability, say 75%. It's at least 1 in 3, I would think. But, it's going to maybe depend on your total setup of your fighter. But it's a much higher probability than command drop, which said 12%. Worked out to be about 12% when I did it with Shadowheart. And then we had to defeat them because I had my whole party there. But if you don't have your whole party there, then you'd separate your party. You have some people at camp. Then the person at camp can always resurrect whoever picks up the sword. So even if you get slaughtered, so if you're level 3 and under, you're going to get slaughtered for sure. 4, you got a fighting chance, and with a full party, and get them surprised. And 5 should be a fair fight, and above that, you should slaughter them. So and I'm thinking about this on balance mode tactician. It may be harder, but I tried this again with a level 1 cleric and a level 1 fighter. So the fighter's going to pick up the sword. They both have invisibility potions. I started out casting an invisibility on one of them, and then I had one take 2 invisibility potions to get in range, and one take 1 invisibility potion to get in range. And it took me 44 tries. It was supposed to be a 9% probability that Kith'rak Voss would drop the legendary sword. It turned out to be like a 1 in 50. That is about a 2% probability of him dropping it. So I personally, there may be something associated with having a lower level cleric that makes the probability so much lower. It seemed like you had to roll, Kith'rak had to roll a 1 on 220 rolls, on an advantage roll or something to drop it. And but it was possible with a level 1 cleric. Now, in point of fact, I don't think you're going to get... This was dependent on withers, and then they got slaughtered. Both the cleric and the fighter got slaughtered, and you pretty much need withers, or maybe you could get away with a lot of invisibility potions if you had a ton of invisibility potions. But if they get slaughtered, then you resurrect them with withers, and then once they're resurrected, they get their full inventory, and then you send the sword to Lizelle. But I highly recommend you do the fighter method and watch that video instead of doing the command drop. You could, conceivably, you could do it at level 1, but most people are going to be like almost at level 2 or at level 2 by the time they leave the Nautiloid ship, and then by the time you get withers, you're probably going to be over level 3, and then by that time it makes sense to do the fighter method because it's just less save scumming than this cleric or spell user command drop. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, and I'm pretty sure this won't work if you've gone to the Ilich Kresh. So if you visit the Githyanki Kresh, they're no longer going to be in this location. So this is really something you want to do in Act 1. I don't think you can steal the sword from him in later acts. It's possible they're still here, but they're definitely not going to be here if you've gone to the Ilich Kresh.